Boom. All right, here we go. Hey, what's up, legends? Welcome back. Today we have the one and only Mr. Beast, aka Jimmy, who for years he tried like some of you guys, and he found very little success on YouTube. And then he just absolutely exploded into almost a household name. Now his story's a little different than Jake and Logan Paul from our last video. Definitely check it out after this video if you guys didn't catch that one. Now, some of the things Mr. Beast did on YouTube, they will blow you away, because no matter how many videos of his that you've seen, you probably missed some of these little things that you can do to help your channel explode. Because as I always say, it is no accident. Mr. Beast makes little decisions every single video that Scott and I will tell you guys today. Hit like, hit sub right now, and leave us a comment down below of who you want to see us break down next. And let's get rolling. Scott, how are you?
I am excellent. Cousin, how are you?
Cousin, I'm good, cousin. How about you?
What's up, you guys? Welcome to the we're calling this a podcast, because really this is what it is. It's a visual podcast, and Denver and I, we're just kind of free rolling here. Like we have studied YouTube for so long. We've built our channels up. We've blown up. We've had hundreds of millions of views. Denver's got a channel right now that's blown up. I've got clients' channels that are blowing up. And so everything that we're talking about here, we're just like, we are freestyling when we're talking about these types of things. And yeah, so each week we're going to be going over tips and tricks that that you can implement into your own YouTube strategy to help yourself lift, elevate, grow on YouTube. We're also going to be going over the legends. We're going to be talking about people who are legendary on the platform and what they have done to get themselves to that status. The thing is there are rules, you guys. There are rules that if you follow them, you can be successful on this platform as well. Anybody can be successful on this platform. And
Anybody.
If Mr. Beast, honestly, if Jimmy can do it, if he can learn the things that it takes to be massively successful, probably the most successful YouTuber on the platform right now, then you can do it as well. So what do you think? Should we just dive right into it?
Let's get into it, man. Let's talk about Jimmy. I just want to call him that every single time now.
Jimmy.
No more Mr. Beast. From here on out, he is Jimmy. No, we'll call him Mr. Beast. He deserves it. He is a household name, honestly, at this point. Everybody knows who he is. Like, I mean, kids know. And the thing about Mr. Beast, that's kind of funny, and I don't mean to be mean when I say this, because I kind of look at myself this way. I don't have any like big major talents, and that's something I tell the legends from our Zero to Legend course. I always tell them, like, I wasn't somebody special. Scott says the same thing. We weren't somebody like special. We weren't born with this like amazing talent and gift. We just learned how to do it the right way. We're going to teach you guys some of those rules.
Or even good looks. I mean, we weren't born with anything special.
We weren't born with good looks, man. It's all makeup.
I'm homely.
Should have shaved for this.
Right, that's right. Okay, so these are the top things that make Mr. Beast one of the most successful creators in the entire industry. So number one, pushes extremes. He pushes things to the extreme. One of the things that we talked about it last week with the Paul brothers, and we implement this in some of our own YouTube strategies. But one of the things that I was told very early on as a YouTuber was that if you're willing to do the things that other creators aren't willing to do, then you'll set yourself apart from other creators. And Mr. Beast, like case in point, right? For his girlfriend's Valentine's Day present, he got, was it like 100,000 roses?
Yeah,
or something like
that
one
was wild.
Insane. It was insane.
Build them all over the house, man. Some of you guys saw that video. I mean, no one is willing to do that. And at this point, nobody really has the money to do something like that. So he's built him up. He's built himself up to this point that almost nobody can compete now, even if they wanted to. It's crazy.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, because he puts the money that he earns from YouTube back into YouTube, and his brand deal money back into YouTube, and he's just blowing this up because nobody is willing. Like, you think about other celebrities and creators, right, who make millions of dollars a year on their platform. They're not investing that money back into their business. Nope. They're buying cars. I mean, like, look at the Paul brothers, like buying mansions,
buying houses, buying cars, buying everything,
Ferraris, and and Lamborghinis and stuff like that. It's like, now Mr. Beast is like, no, I'm going to give $200,000 away to people who are stuck in quarantine, and that video is going to get 15 million views, right? So it's like Mr. Beast is investing his money back into himself, and now he's reached the point where he is set for life, no matter what. But he still has enough money to spend spend every month in doing unique projects and unique things so that way he can continue to blow up his YouTube channel.
Yeah. So the way, you know, and I look at Laserbeam kind of the same way, and you guys in the gaming community kind of know Laserbeam. Laserbeam was the same way. I kind of knew him when he was smaller and he was doing like Madden videos, which is a football game, right? A video game. And what he was doing was even challenges in video games that nobody else was willing to do. He was spending like 20 hours a day and getting like no sleep just to be able to complete these videos and do them before anybody else could. And they were way bigger and better than anybody else's. So what happened? All of a sudden, every video he was putting out got multiple millions of views. So like you look at Jimmy, MrBeast, right? I mean, how many videos of him sitting there on camera, just in his chair like this, doing things for 10 straight hours. And then people are like, oh, I could do that. But then you get 2 hours into something, especially hearing a song over and over, and you're just like, I can't do this anymore. So he made it. A lot of the reason is because he's doing things that you and I and others are not willing to do. You have to put yourself into those extremes these days to set yourself apart from the competition.
Yeah, the stupidity of going through a drive-through 1,000 times. That was one of their videos. We went through the drive-through 1,000 times, right? They did. I think they did it for 16 hours, 14 or 16 hours, the entire day. And the reason that it was successful is because nobody was willing to do it. I mean, obviously they cut in a lot of fun into the entire video, and they had to make it flow because nobody just wants to see somebody driving circles for 15 minutes.
And we'll talk about that too in this video too. So don't miss it, guys. That's a huge part of his videos, and we got some tips for you on that. But yeah, that's big.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's willing to put the time and the effort and the money back into his channel, and that's why he's exploding.
You know, as I was watching some of his videos, I thought, man, he is like, and this is something, I don't know if I picked it up from The Office. Do you remember, I think it was Ryan from The Office. He was like, you know, Stanley's the crossword puzzle guy. Somebody else is the something girl. He's like, I don't want to be that guy, right? But on YouTube, you kind of need to end up being that guy or that girl. Now, MrBeast became that guy for giving money, right? So what are you doing for branding on your channel? I have to ask myself that all the time. What am I doing? What am I the guy of, right? Or as some of you younger kids say, I saw this on TikTok a lot, Scott, we're boomers. We don't keep up to date with all this stuff. But what are you the CEO of? What do people know you for, right? I'm the Fortnite news guy. That's just what I am right now. Now, I could change that, right? I'm the second favorite PE teacher. For you guys who are just coming, you're like, what is that? What does that stuff mean? To a huge group of people, that's what I am. I am the second favorite PE teacher. I am the Fortnite news guy. So you have to become a guy or a girl of something. You have to be known for something. And that's just, you know, that's a fancy way of saying branding. Right? We have to become known for something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is one of the biggest things that I teach my clients is that when you get onto YouTube for the first time, you are mostly going to get traffic through search. And if you want to grow your channel, you need to have a set of keywords that YouTube knows you for and serves an audience to you for in the beginning. Now, as you grow, you can branch out and be more general in your niche or your category. But in the very beginning, you got to focus and you got to be that guy of a certain subject. And that's what I tell anybody who's ever getting onto YouTube for the first time. I'm like, you have to pick your category and you got to stick with it for months and months and months, at least till you have 10 or 15 or 20,000 subscribers. And then you've got that base of core diehard fans who are going to watch any of your content. Then you start branching out and doing things that are more unique and not necessarily target traffic that's based off of search. Yeah. So, okay. So the other thing that you want to make sure is as you're becoming the guy of that category, you want to make sure that you're letting your followers, your diehard fans, kind of protect you, right? You're going to get trolls. They're going to come at you left and right. You're going to get the nastiest comments in the world. Don't let that get to your head. But what you don't want to do is delete every single one of those comments. You want your diehard fans to come in and start fighting your fights for you, because that makes them more diehard fans. It's a psychology. Like the people you fight for, the ones that you love most are the ones that you respect and that you trust and that you are going to follow to the end of the world. Right. So let your
I think Scott, you were like the first one to like tell me that because I was deleting a lot of those comments, and I tell people all the time, like, if somebody's just being just straight up rude and just bringing hatred and negativity to you, like, feel free to block them, guys. But at the same time, you can leave some of those there, because what it does is it makes people choose a side. Do they want to be with the person who's against you, or do they want to be with you? It's like Scott said, it's a psychological thing where if you're defending somebody, you're more loyal to them, right? And so MrBeast, I mean, there's who's the guy? Isn't it Morgs, Scott? Do you know I think Morgs is the one who copies MrBeast all the time, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I mean, Morgs is still blowing up, right? But I think a lot of the reasons he's blowing up is because he's so divisive. He gets a lot of views from like MrBeast fans that are like, oh, you're just copying. And a lot of Morgs fans are like, no, MrBeast copied a lot of my videos, which has been true, I think, once or twice where MrBeast did something similar to Morgs videos. But for, it's just that kind of controversy. We talked about that with Jake and Logan Paul too. That kind of controversy and division actually, makes an audience like more loyal to what you're doing, and they'll watch every video, they'll comment, and they'll protect you from those trolls like Scott was talking about.
Absolutely. The next thing that I want to talk about that MrBeast does impeccably well is he is a force for good, right? Yeah. Everything that he does really is to help support other people, is to disperse his money, give his money away to help other people who are in need. If you just watch a few of his channels or a few of his videos, you're going to see right off the bat that this guy is a good guy. And there are very few of those types of people on YouTube, it seems like.
That's true.
Like I know we talked about the Paul brothers last week, right? And there's two extremes, right? You've got the Paul brothers who are loud, obnoxious, they're into girls and money and cars and houses and things. And then you got MrBeast, who lives humbly. He pays off, he pays off people's houses. Yeah. He gives people money when they need it. He helps his friends buy new cars. Like, that is what MrBeast is about. That's what he's bringing. That's what he's bringing to the table. And it's this attitude of giving. And trust me, believe me, guys, when you give, you will receive in return. And sometimes it's not just money, but sometimes it's opportunity. Sometimes it's getting in front of the right people who have the right message, who can support you and help you get bigger and get your message out there further. But having an attitude and a spirit of giving will pay back tenfold if you focus your mind that way. So
that's true. And it has for him. I mean, Jimmy, I just gotta say that every time now. Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody, you see him do good. Again, that's like building an audience. I mean, imagine saying something bad about MrBeast on social media. You are gonna get torn to shreds. People are gonna be like, dude, look at how much money he gave. We don't even know. I mean, I just want to say this now. I'm pretty sure he is a good guy, but we don't know if he's a good guy or not. We really don't, because all we see is edited videos, right? But what we assume based on the actions that he does, he's a good person, right? And we want to be around, and we want to, be a part of somebody who is a good person and what they're building, right? So the next thing I want to bring up, I wrote meme culture down here, right? When we were taking notes, we were talking about this, Scott and I wanted to teach you guys something. Maybe this isn't Scott's group, but definitely with the younger crowd, if you guys want to relate to them, you have to be up to date on current like jokes and trends and memes. You just kind of have to be, even if that means inserting like a meme or a joke that a younger audience will understand early on in the video, and then you never even have to do it again. But this is something Jimmy does, and MrBeast, he'll watch a 10-hour meme video. So not only is it a guy sitting in a chair for 10 hours, it's like a funny video that's going to slowly drive him insane. It just makes it that much more extreme, going back to that first point.
Dude, I am such a boomer. I said dank memes to somebody once, and they started laughing, and I'm like, I don't get it. Maybe I don't understand what dank memes mean.
No, I mean, dank memes, I in the right context, you might be able to pull it off. I don't know. Dank memes is kind of, it's so 2019, right? I mean, am I boomer for saying that? It's so 2019, dude. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't even know what dank memes mean anymore. And that just says it right there. I'm not in the cool kid.
I know, man. It's all these trends, and it's the culture on YouTube. There is a culture, right? You'll see on videos, MrBeast will put out a video. You'll see in the comments a certain trend of comment. If you can bring that into your own videos and get more comments that way, he knows what he's doing. Again, I go back to what I said at the very beginning. It is not an accident. He didn't pick some goofy or some random video. He picked a specific video for a reason, because it is a meme. It was being hot, it was being searched at the time, and now he just capitalized on all that traffic and just blew up off it, which a 10-hour video I think I watched of a dog dancing. That was it. A dog dancing has like over millions of views right now, but it's just like, I mean, some of the stuff he does. But let's talk about thumbnails real quick, and we'll move it along. Thumbnails, a lot has been said about MrBeast thumbnails. Scott, you're the thumbnail expert. I mean, what have you noticed about these?
Well, so here's the thing: the big secret with thumbnails, and Denver and I talk about this a lot, because we're always going going over thumbnail strategy, but the big secret with thumbnails, there's two secrets. Number one, get your audience to ask a question. If you can get your audience to ask a question in your thumbnails, then they have to click the thumbnail. They have to watch the video to have that question answered. And a brain that has a question on the mind, a brain that has a question is not going to stop until that question is answered, or is more likely to continue to answer that question. So get your audience to ask a question. And MrBeast does that incredibly well. Like, you look at his stuff, you're like, well, what do you mean? What's a golden pizza? What is it? Why is he eating a golden pizza? You know, just think about all the questions.
What is it? What is it? What does it look like? How did he do it? And like, one of the big questions I think with MrBeast is this real? Did he actually do this? Right? Mark Rober's the same way. It's like, did he actually do this? Like, what does this actually look like? And sure enough, he did it. You know what I mean? But you just had to see it. You had to click.
Again, because going back to one of our earlier points is, if you're willing to push yourself to the extremes and do the things that other people aren't willing to do, then they're going to be more likely to watch you. People are going to be more likely to watch you. And if you indicate that in your thumbnail, and you have that question like apparent, people look at it, they see it, they question, then they're going to go and watch it. The other thing is emotion. And we don't see a lot of emotion in MrBeast thumbnails, but that's okay, because, you know, his category isn't necessarily to draw out emotion. And on the videos where he does give away thousands of dollars or whatever to people who are in need, sometimes he does that. But overall, MrBeast is not an exploitative person. And I mean, I remember just watching a video over the weekend where he was giving toys to a children's hospital, and he wouldn't film any of the kids. And he says it on camera. He's like,
wow.
He's like, I don't want to film any of the kids because I just think that that's wrong. And I was like, dude, solid. And that speaks to his character for sure.
It does. Yeah, it definitely does. Okay, let's get to the good stuff that you guys can do literally right now in your videos. Go through your last edit and start doing this. We teach the legends this all the time. Legends, shout out to you guys. ZTL course, make sure you guys check it out. But every single video, you want to be cutting 3 to 4 seconds. Every 3 to 4 seconds, do something. Cut to the next clip, zoom, have a graphic come up on the screen. Every 3 to 4 seconds, be changing something. But just the way our brains work, and with our low attention span, think of like Instagram. We're always like, scrolling, clicking pictures. You have to constantly change up the attention that your viewers are keeping onto your video, just to keep them on for longer, because you've got to get that average watch time, and this is the #1 way to do it.
Well, and it's a Hollywood tactic too. I mean, remember when we were watching those movie trailers and we were counting how many cuts there were?
It's like every second or two.
Yeah, it was 10 cuts in the first 20 seconds. So every 2 seconds there's a cut. And so if you guys pace your videos like that, you watch some of the biggest YouTubers in the world, like Colin's Key. It's like every couple of seconds, boom, 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 zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, cut to this, cut to that. And so if you're pacing your content correctly, people won't be able to take their eyes off of your video. And then you'll increase your watch time. So as Kira's editing this, we need her to make cuts every 2 seconds, okay? Kira,
Kira, every 2 seconds.
It takes so long.
I know, man. And honestly, like, something about MrBeast videos too. And I don't know if I ever told you this, Scott, but every single person I'm ever helping, I will pull up a MrBeast video and I'll be like, count the cuts. Seriously, pull up. I don't even know when you guys are watching this and what video is new right now. Pull up his newest video and count how many times he cuts. You're going to lose track, because some of his cuts, not a big difference between an obvious cut and a subtle cut. Always go for the subtle cuts. You don't want people to know you're like zooming in on your face. That gets exhausting if you're doing way too many obvious cuts. If you pay attention to MrBeast, it's a lot of very subtle cuts. You don't even know they're happening. And all of a sudden, in the first like 20 seconds, just like the movie trailer, you have like 10 to 12 cuts. It's crazy, but it works. And also, the camera is never standing still. And Scott, I don't know if you know this, he doesn't use a tripod, right? He's constantly holding the camera. His friends are holding cameras and they're moving, they're shaking. You don't have to do that in editing, because the camera's doing it itself. It's just an action shot. It adds a lot more. I don't know. It works with vlogging. So I don't know about gaming, but it definitely works.
Well, in third-party shooting adds authority to your videos as well. When you have somebody else who's shooting you, it makes it look like an enterprise. When you're shooting yourself, you look like you're a solo act. You always want to look enterprise. And so if you can set things up, or you've got a friend who's shooting for you, it makes you look bigger than you might actually be, because it just adds authority to your videos. So the next thing we want to talk about is the storytelling aspect of MrBeast. Now, we talked about the camera shooting, we talked about the pacing, but every single video that MrBeast does, that he creates, has a story element to it. And most of the time there are stories within the stories. There's sub stories within the main story. And he does that for pacing. He does that for flow. He does that for watch time. Because you think about it, like in a television show, there are typically more than just one stories going on at the same time. And that's to keep you hooked and engaged, because you want to see everything converge at the very last minute into the solution, or to the resolving of all of the problems, everything that has been going on throughout the entire video. So MrBeast will add these storytelling elements into his videos, and usually he'll present problems that happen at the beginning of his videos or in the middle of his videos, and then he'll have solutions to them near the end to keep you hooked and engaged. But the competition within a competition, or the story within a story, like those things really keep people hooked. So the other day, let's see here. Yeah, there was one video that I was watching where they did the 1,000 times around the drive-through, and one of the stories within the stories was they got into unique vehicles. So somebody was in a golf cart, somebody was on a lawnmower.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You know, and that just adds to the storytelling, because now you've got, you want to see what's he gonna. Now he's mowing the lawn with the lawnmower. He's going around and then he mows the lawn, and now they got the golf cart. And
yeah,
and
he always like narrates those stories too, where he's like, he'll stop in like the middle of something, like it'll be going into the video, and then he'll cut and he'll be like, but then we found out that this was broken, so we had to go here and do this thing. Like it's always like, here's the struggles we had, and this is us trying to overcome it. And if you guys don't recognize that from movies and stories, start to, because a lot of the good YouTube videos that you watch follow the same thing that movies and books follow, which is, you know, this bad thing happens, we overcame it, and then we had a happy ending. And that's what all of his videos are. It's like a long story. He's not just, here's this crazy thing. It's, here's the buildup, and here's some side stories, and then it's building up, and then there's a problem. We got to fix it. Problem, got to fix it. And it, like, finally at the end, we go, oh man, like that's how we stick around. That's how we get watch time on our videos, is getting people to stick around and go, okay, so what's going to happen here?
Now, talking about, again, going back to doing something that other people won't do, right? You think about the difficulty of putting something like that together. Like it is, both Denver and I, we've been YouTubing for a long time. We've been creating videos, created stories for a long, long time. We know the effort that it takes to put together a high quality piece of content, to do voiceover work on top of vlog style, to do B-roll shots on top of everything else. There's a lot that goes into it. But Jimmy, he is all about
Jimmy.
He's all about putting that extra piece of effort in, so that way each of his videos feels like an episode, and they they flow, and you end up watching 90% or 100% of all of the videos, because they're insanely good to watch.
And let's talk about this last thing we want to talk about. We saved this to last just because it is so important. We wanted to wrap this up so you guys didn't forget it. Something about MrBeast videos, so it just feels good, right? A lot of times we watch a video, we aren't conscious of how good it is, and next thing you know, we watch the entire thing. So one thing that keeps people around and makes you just feel comfortable in that video and cheering somebody on in the video, you know, in this case MrBeast, is he is just himself. He's not trying to be somebody else. He's not trying to be like Mr. Comedian and crack jokes every 2 seconds. He does have, you know, a little sarcasm and sometimes says funny things, but he's never like, ha ha ha, you know, putting on this show, everything's so great. And he's just himself, and he's just telling a story, and he's just kind of letting you in on his life and just kind of who he is and his group of friends. And they just have a purpose, you know, they're just trying to accomplish something. And Scott and I, we talk about this all the time. This is one of the most important things, is don't be a salesman, just be yourself. And Scott, what do we always say? Not just yourself, but what?
Be your best self. Be your best self.
Be your
you want to make sure that
self.
You know, you have Denver describes it well. Like you have your couch self where you're just like, meh, you know, and then you've got your party self where you're outgoing and you're entertaining and you're engaging.
Yeah, you're still yourself, but you're just up. You're more energy, you know, positive vibes and stuff like that, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you want to be that most energetic self. And again, you can't turn that on 100% of your life, right? It's just not going to happen. But on YouTube, that's how you want to represent yourself, because you want people to be engaged with you and you want people to want to follow you.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people that I have worked with, that I've coached, who when I watch them on camera, it's like, hey guys, how's it going? This is I had a really bad day today. You probably don't even want to subscribe to me because I'm ugly, and they get so self-deprecating and so so hard on themselves that people, it's like, I really don't want to be.
I'm not liking this. Yeah, it doesn't make me feel better. Yeah, when just confidence, right? And just authenticity. It's contagious. Think about some of the people in your life. Like, you love your family so much. Your family's not trying to be someone else around you. I mean, most of you, we love being around our family because we can just be ourselves. Some of our best friends, why do we want to be around them? Why do we want them to be around us? Because you're just yourself around them. And that's what Jimmy makes his viewer feel. Jimmy. Jeez, every time we say that, Jimmy makes his viewers feel like they're just one of his friends, and he's our friend, and he just feels like a regular guy doing big, great things. And that's what you can do too.
That's right. You guys,
Jimmy,
stick with it. You can do Jimmy.
Just cut right there. We'll just yell Jimmy and just cut to the end of the video.
All right, you guys. Hey, if you like this video, leave it a thumbs up. Drop a comment in the comment section. Talk to us about who you want us to talk about next. Talk to us about MrBeast.
We'll do it.
What are your favorite aspects about MrBeast that makes his videos super awesome?
Yeah, did we miss something? Like, let us know down in the comments if we missed something, like an aspect you're like, yo, Scott in Denver, he also does this. Like, let us know, because we're always learning with you guys too. We know a lot, but man, there's always more to learn.
And we can always do a MrBeast episode 2 also.
Part 2. We probably could.
I'm all about that. Hey,
totally
also make sure you visit ytlegends.com if you are interested in becoming a YouTube legend. If you want to be successful on YouTube, we've got a program for you. It's like 30. How many videos do we have? It's
a lot.
Like 30. I think we have 36 or 37 videos in this course. Deep. We've got hundreds of pages of workbook pages, everything that you need to know in order to take off on YouTube. Go to ytlegends.com. You can click the link in the description below. Other than that, anything else you want to add?
All good to go. Jimmy! Jimmy!
My